Redwood Empire Emerald Giant is one of the best value rye whiskeys out there, especially coming from a Cask distillery, coming around $30 to $35 in my area. But the cask strength, which is basically double the price, coming in around $65 to $70, that's a pretty big price jump. Will it be worth the upgrade? I'll let you know.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Welcome to Whiskey. My name is David. The Emerald Giant is part of Redwood Empire's standard lineup, which includes the Pipe Dream, their bourbon, and their Lost Monarch, which is their rye, the blend of bourbon and rye. These original three standard releases were produced from sourced whiskeys, mainly from MGP, but some from Kentucky, as they needed to produce revenue and sell bottles until their own whiskeys were aged and matured to their standards. And as of today, Redwood Empire has many releases which are 100% produced and aged up in Sonoma County, which is where their distillery is located, which include bottled in bonds, high rye, and single malt whiskeys. One cool thing about the cask strength in their standard lineup is that it has a slightly different mash bill than the regular standard lineup, which is kind of cool, as Redwood Empire blends in their own whiskeys in addition to the source whiskeys to produce the cask strength, which partly explains the high price increase. All right, let's get right on to the Emerald Giant. So some of the stats for the regular: its age is a blend of 3 to 5 year old rye whiskeys. Its proof is 90. Its mash bill is a standard MGP, 95% rye, 5% malted barley. For the cask strength, its age is a blend of 4 to 6 year old whiskeys. Its proof is 116.4. And its mash bill, 94% rye, 5% malted barley, and 1% wheat. Again, slightly different than the standard regular one. And as always, too much talking, not enough drinking. Let's get it. Opening ceremony. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm gonna let this open up for a couple of minutes. I'll be right back. All right, let's get right to it. First, the regular Emerald Giant, the nose. All right, well, you get the rye spice right away, but it's not too peppery, kind of a soothing rye spice. And then it goes into some sweetness, a little bit of brown sugar, caramel, a lot more like a toasted bread. And then I do get a lot of citrus, like orange, even a little minty if you want to go by it. But again, very nice, very good, and a very pleasing nose. Let's get straight on to the palate. Cheers, guys. Wow, so you get the complete spectrum of spice right away. You get the rye, slight cinnamon, slight peppery, but again, everything's smooth, it goes really well. It's not overwhelming for sure. And then you get a little bit of sweetness. It's definitely the honey sweetness instead of the brown sugar or the caramel sharp sweetness. So it does go along with the rye very well. And you get a lot of citrus, orange or even lemony, very bright, very, how do you say it? It's a little bit fun compared to the spice. So you get the spice, a little bit of sweet, and then that burst of citrus. Very interesting rye whiskey. And then the finish, very, I want to say short, but very subtle. You get a little bit of that honey sweetness, you get a little bit of the rye spice, but it just kind of goes down and just gives you a nice little feel, but again, very short, which is very interesting because the mouth was very spicy, but down here, just all gone. Hey, if you're liking this, please push that like button. I'll be so happy. Oh, if you sub, I'll be so happy. All right, let's move on to the cask strength. First, the nose. Wow. So compared to the regular, the aroma is a lot more dense and it's a lot more sweet. I do get that caramel, the brown sugar, which is very pleasing for a rye. And the spice, very subtle, almost like a black tea or like a green tea type of spice instead of the cinnamon. So very subtle with a lot of citrus, a little bit more orange or even cherry to a certain extent. And then you get a little bit of floral, like a little bit of lavender. Very interesting nose for the cask strength. And then for the palate, fire in the hole. Ooh. So on this one, I do get a lot more of the rye punch right up front. So it's like the baking spices or the spectrum of baking spices. The cinnamon, the pepper, the nutmeg, you get it all. So it's actually, I don't want to say overwhelming at first, but you do notice it a lot. But then after that, in the second or third sip, you do get a lot more of the sweetness, the caramel, the brown sugar, and even a little bit of chocolate. which is very nice. Maybe it's that 1% wheat that gives out that chocolate. Okay, I like it. But then that citrus is still there. Orange, lemon, the brightness, the citrusiness, the tropicalness, it's all there. So you get the sweet, the spice, the fruit, and then the finish is much longer, obviously, than the regular, but it does kind of tingle with the cinnamon, the sweetness of the chocolate. And at the very end, you do get a sweet, like a vanilla cream, which is very, very good. And I do like that 3-tier system. I guess that 3-tier where you get a different thing on the nose, the palate, and the finish. So I get the floral on the nose, the sweetness, the chocolate in the palate, and then the sweet, creamy vanilla on the finish. Very fun and interesting experience. All right, quickly back to back. So the result. It's a cash drink worth the upgrade to $65, $70 compared to regular at $30 to $35. Well, considering that the Emerald Giant, which is very good, is kind of thin at the finish, and the flavors were very, how do you say, rye-esque. You can get a lot of alternatives to this regular Redwood Empire. But $65, $70, it's a very good rye whiskey, and that 1% wheat makes a difference because you get that chocolate note that I don't get from many other rye whiskeys. So I would say that the cash drink is worth the upgrade. Now, both are worth your money. This is worth $30 to $35. This is definitely worth $65 to $70. But it's a unique experience from rye whiskey that I don't get too often. Now, warning, both are rye drinkers, rye. So if you're more used to the Pikesville or the Sagamores or even the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye, these are gonna be a jump in the rye spice with a little bit less of that sweet fruit note that you get from those. So I would tread lightly in terms of jumping into these rye whiskeys if you didn't have too many rye whiskeys before. But if you love the rye whiskeys, then this rye will absolutely be in your wheelhouse. So leave in the comments, have you guys had these? Is it worth the upgrade? Is it even worth the money? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.